You know, when somebody says, why don't you expose the Catholics or the Jews or whatever? Of course, there's evil in all these things. But, you know, it's like so much evil in so little time, you know, that you've got to do here. You know, Henry Kissinger called up a columnist for the New York Post. This was about 2 months ago. And he said, I would like for something to be on the front page of your newspaper, a quote from me. She said, okay. Betsy, whatever her name is, you can get the New York Post.
Sure, I saw it.
And he said, in 10 years, Israel will not exist. That's all. That's all he wanted to say. But he wanted to tell the whole world. Because in the Jewish Kabbalah and Talmud, you tell people what you're going to do before you do it. If you're going to murder somebody, you tell them beforehand.
Well, that's like Indians counting coup.
Yeah, that relieves you of the guilt of doing it, according to this theory. So he's saying in 10 years there will be no Israel. What does that mean? They just came out with a new DNA study by Dr. Ilan Elhaik of St. John's Hopkins School of Medicine, one of the most distinguished schools in America. He's Jewish. He says that there is no Jewish people, that all of the Jews in the world came from the Khazars and such. Now, there have been other genetic studies on this. In other words, no one living in Israel today has ancestors who came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Except for the Sephardic Jews of Middle Eastern Jews.
But those are less than 2% of the Jews. In fact, the Palestinians are more Israelite than the Jews are.
But by the way, it was Sephardic Jews they radiated.
Yeah, and by the way, now Obama's going.
Why would the Israelis want to kill Jews that are genetically like the truly ancient Jews?
Well, they're the Ashkenazi Jews. You know, it's a long story. The Ashkenazi Jews are the Khazars. They're not Israelites. The Sephardi, many of them are. Those that stayed in the Middle East are. So the people, when Netanyahu says God gave us the title of this land, 5,000 years ago, no such thing. His ancestors came from Khazaria. So
there's been new genetic research showing that's a true theory.
So this just came out.
The 13th tribe has been confirmed. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Arthur Kessler, the poor guy died. Some say he was murdered. He was a very good Zionist Jew, and he wrote the 13th tribe. He said they came. All of the historians and archaeologists have always said this. I wanted to know.
That's around Georgia.
Yeah, I wanted to know the truth. I wanted to say, well, what is the truth on this? Well, now we have DNA evidence that says the Jews are converts. They're pagans who converted to Judaism. They do not. Their bloodlines do not go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And not only that, but Dr. Elhaik, who is Jewish, who is a real fighter there, he says there's no doubt about it. It's science. So what happens? What do all the Christians do? I want to say this. Henry Kissinger knew of this study. He knows of this. I think well,
no, it's really chic to hate Israel, and I see them building it up, Antichrist stuff. He claims to be and then kills them. This is crazy.
Right. The elite.
That's what I'm saying. It's more sophisticated.
The elite have latched on to Israel as a tactic, as
just
a strategy.
Like I saw America's plunging in the polls. They have us do the dirty work, then they destroy us.
Absolutely. Look, the Rothschilds and the others are Sabbatean Jews. They worship Satan. They don't worship the Bible. They have a serpent that they worship. I know this sounds fantastic. Of course it is. But that
was because of that ancient area north of Georgia. Was the
right, Kazakhstan, Georgia, all those areas in there. Those people migrated over to Europe. There were 3 million Polish people. Now, when Israel was formed, David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister, was a Polish guy. Shimon Peres is Polish. That wasn't even their names. They changed their names to sound like they were Israelites. So we have a nation of imposters. But it would be wrong of us to hate these people. It would be wrong of us to not get the right idea here. The right idea is this. These people have been used. They have been used for foul purposes. They have been used to set up a bastion in the Middle East. But they will be dealt with. They'll be destroyed once the New World Order has...
Yeah, why is Saudi Arabia so precious? They are just hands off. We've never seen such attacks when we criticize Saudi Arabia. And that's when you're over the target, you get the flag.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that the 9/11 people, 17 of the 19 came.
I mean, look how Al-Qaeda comes out of there, but we never hear about that, and how they're using Saudi Arabia to take over Libya and Syria. I mean, are they planning a big clash, too, that Pike talked about with the Muslims, too?
Yeah, well, Pike was an interesting character who had the plan. And he said basically the plan is that there will be a great clash between the Muslims, the Christians, with the Jews sort of sitting on the sideline, but they'll be destroyed too. So that atheism will be the true religion, and Lucifer will be the one we worship. And I think that's the key here. We have to understand these people do not worship the Old Testament. And I'm talking about the Illuminati elite. They don't worship the Old Testament. They don't believe in the Old Testament at all. They have the Kabbalah. I mean, when you see Madonna with her little red band, Bill Clinton has it. Britney Spears has a little red wristband. They're into the Kabbalah. They're not into the Old Testament. They're not into...
That's mysticism picked up in Egypt, Babylon, and then the Khazars.
It absolutely is. That's where it all comes from.
And it's admittedly that.
Admittedly.
And that's all Raiders of the Lost Ark. And that's what drives me crazy. We're informed. People say there's no Illuminati. It's in history books. And everything, and it's just so, I want everybody, no matter what, black child, Jewish child, German child, Chinese child, to not jump off suicide nets. I just want to fuse your text. I know that's what you want. Amazing. We'll have to have you back on a history lesson on that, because I find it fascinating. And the way I've described it is, I don't like any of the racist groups. I don't like the racist Jewish mafia that's attacking me all the time, the ADL. I don't like the Mexican mafia attacking me. I don't like the Muslim groups that say I'm horrible because I don't say kill all the Jews. I don't like, it's like I don't like Hitler. I don't like Stalin. I don't like the British royalty. I don't like Che Guevara. So often it's like, well, this group's bad, so you must like Che. Or America's corrupt, so, why isn't Hugo Chavez good?
Yeah.
Well, compared to a lot of dictators, he wasn't that bad, but he stole a lot of property and stuff from poor people. Even, it's just the real world. You got to have discernment. You got to have nuance. You got to have history. And I'm just coming in at 39 into being able to really start figuring things out. And it just, to an elitist, they get off on the general public being like deaf, dumb, and blind people who can't even communicate. And then they use that to control them. And I want to empower them. But I think, do you agree a lot of it is spiritual? God has to touch them.
Spiritual. Here's the real question. Why was Henry Kissinger protected when he said Israel will not exist in 10 years? Remember, he's Jewish. Well, why was he not attacked by the press? How dare he say
if Ahmadinejad say that, they'd say nuking.
Oh, well, they would say, look, he's got a plan. He wants to kill us all. He wants to bring back the Holocaust. But Henry Kissinger said it. Nobody asked a thing. He just says it, and you're supposed to accept it. Well, I don't accept it. I want to know what